Welcome back to Wild Drama Stories. Let's get right to those stories. Story number 1. Opie writes, in the space of one whole week, I, 28 male, have ruined years of planning and preparation by my dad. The week starts off with my mom and dad, both in their 60s, arguing because he has just said he was planning to go to England to see my cousin who lives there run a marathon. We live in Australia, so it's a massive trip. Mom basically says that's stupid and you aren't going. Couple of days go by and my dad says to me and my sister that he's going to London for 10 days on Friday. It was Tuesday when he was telling us. I said, how did this go down with Mom? And he said, like a lead balloon. The next day I was speaking to Dad on the phone about something and I just asked where he was and he said he was in his office and heading home soon. Just by sudden chance, my sister rings me up 30 minutes later and says, quote, hey, do you know where Dad is supposed to be? Unquote. I told her at the office, and she said, well, my friend has seen him at the local shops. So we get her friend to follow him. He drives to a house probably 15 minutes away from our family home and drives straight into the garage and the door shuts. 1 hour later, Dad comes home. I ran the data for the house to find the owner is him and he purchased it 3 years prior. I was stunned, to say the least. Dad eventually leaves to go to England and I find that he left his iPad behind. Curiosity got the better of me and I started going through his emails. He has all these emails with a lady about buying furniture and how she wishes she could have gone on this trip with him and how much they miss each other, blah blah blah. Literally, they are buying kitchen appliances and TVs together for the address that he owns. The kicker is that this lady sorted out all the legal stuff with a plot of land I had recently bought. My fiancé and myself had met with her in person maybe 3 months before. So I emailed her to give me a call. She calls me and asks what's up in a normal voice and I say, what's going on with you and my father? Her whole attitude changes and she says it's purely a professional relationship and basically hangs up. 2 minutes go by and my dad rings me from England, yelling at me saying how dare I throw wild accusations at people he knows and that there is nothing happening. I say, okay, so there is nothing happening, nothing that is a secret that I should know about whatsoever. And he responds, no, nothing at all. I name drop the address of the secret house and the phone line goes silent for a solid 10 seconds. He blurts out that it's just an investment property and I say, all good, but just know if you move in with this woman, you will never see me again. And he responds with, what? You would cut me just like that? And I say, yep. Phone call over. I go back to the iPad 2 minutes later and it's been locked by owner. Checkmate, Dad. Here's some additional information from Opie. Fiancé and me have been trying to figure out what happens with our wedding now. Does my dad come? If he does, what will that look like? How will it work? We are also building a house, which should be done by November. So will my dad ever step foot in this thing we've worked so hard for? Lots of emotions running wild right now. But really, at the core of it all is morals. I used to get pulled up by him whenever I did something wrong when I was growing up. I'm just trying to defend my mother now. And here's Opie's first update. For anyone still asking, my mother knows everything. I have told her everything I possibly know, and she is booked in this week for legal advice. Dad is still in England, so she has the time to do what she needs to this week. His belongings have been moved to his newer house also. We've made it a point to not reply to any of his messages, etc., and have all fully committed to telling him we no longer want him living with us. My sister has also contacted her work and has informed someone there about the situation and how we feel that it may be a conflict of interest with her doing legal stuff for my land as she is intertwined with our father. Not sure what they will do with this information, but it was the correct thing to tell them. Anyone who has also asked, my dad is a mortgage broker and owns his own business, so this is why it was probably so easy for him to purchase the secret property. Our family house was fully paid off 5 or 6 years ago, as far as I'm aware, So keeping another home elsewhere probably isn't too hard financially for him. The other woman has also recently gone through a messy divorce. Succubus, to say the least. Update 2. Clearing a few grievances people have. Dad went to Europe to see my cousin over the New Year and didn't invite any of us. Just said he was going with a month's notice. So that's why Mom said this was stupid and you aren't going this time around because he just came back from 4 weeks there. Also, some Facebook investigating shows that the other woman was in Germany in late December, so pretty sure they were with each other there. Cousin was also for some reason following this woman on Instagram, but today has unfollowed. I have the feeling she knows and has met her. Also, people asking why we have moved his stuff out. Unless you are put in this situation, it would be very difficult to understand. But basically, it was my decision because I do not want him returning and spewing some convoluted story as he has the time to concoct one. My family is hurting and feels very betrayed, so we can't have him living with us right now. I will be willing to repair the father and son relationship with due time, depending on how he chooses to tackle this. Mom has to be looked after and left a fair portion as they have been married for 30 years, and she has been loyal to a fault. I will not, however, accept this woman that he is messing around with. To have me and my fiancé meet her and then saying, quote, "Yeah, she's really nice, isn't she?" unquote, is weird to me. Feels so wrong. And even that she lied to me and said, "Nah, nothing is happening." She's a homewrecker, and I will never be able to form a relationship with her. Update 3. Update at the moment is that Dad has still not returned home. He was due today, but he has not returned. Starting to think this could be a Dad went to the store to get milk and cigarettes story. In all seriousness though, we are all hurting. My mom is pretty good considering because I guess her relationship with Dad has been breaking down for years. It's no fun to hear that your husband is cheating, but she seems less surprised than me and my sis. I've started to look back in retrospect with my future wife and realize the things I have wrong with me, party lifestyle, anger issues, etc., have probably been a byproduct of being a kid in this crap relationship from my parents. By no means am I blaming them, but maybe it's a contributing factor. All in all, it's a crap time. I will stay strong and say my piece when he gets back, but this whole thing has pushed me further away from the family. Honestly, I want to go off and start my own family and forget about this. I will update when I have something to report. Right now, it's a depressing time between taking down photos of Dad in the house and making small talk about how Dad is doing in England with extended family to keep up appearances. Absolutely exhausting. Update 4. So Dad is back in the country. He had messaged my sister and I, saying that he's back at work and hopefully he can talk to us soon. Mom has gotten her solicitors to email Dad the other day to report all his assets, earnings, bank statements, etc. So he definitely knows the marriage is all but over. He also messaged my mom saying that he's back in Australia and hopes she's okay. Mom responded with, "I'm not okay. What have I done?" with no reply. The secret agent that my sister is has been around the other house the last few days and has seen footballs lying around the yard. Pretty sure the other lady is there with her kids. Yeah, I have step-siblings. Not really sure what to say or do right now. I've just been supporting Mum with everything. I don't think there will be some big showdown or many words said by anyone at this stage. Their 30-year marriage has literally fizzled out right before our eyes and looks as if Dad will just continue with his other woman and her younger kids. His only priority with our family now seems to be with my sister and me. He is being very careful on what he says and keeps dropping the "I love you both so much." Not sure what to say to him, so I'm just leaving him on red. For those wondering, the divorce solicitor has stated in black and white that anything accrued during the marriage is 50-50. So that means our family home, the secret house, his bank account, his superannuation, 401k or social security for our Yanks reading, His business, cars, motorbike, etc. is all half hers upon separation. Doesn't even matter if he has funneled money to someone else or is trying to transfer the property to another person, because the solicitor will have access to all this and can dispute in court. Financially, he is definitely cooked, and I'm glad in a way that I found out when I did. Not quite sure if there will be another update, as I don't think there will be much else of note to talk about. Thanks everyone for your kind words through this ordeal. It's been a weird sort of therapy in a way for me. OP, you said earlier that this has been absolutely exhausting, and that's not surprising because you've had this huge emotional upset that you're still going through, and that really drains a person of your physical energy as well. I think it's wise of you that you've been keeping your distance from your father for the time being. You did say that in the future you would like to try and build a father-son relationship with him again. And if you really want to do that, then it would be a bad idea indeed to meet up with him now, when emotions are still so very raw and you might say things that you'll regret later and that you can't take back. You said that the relationship between your parents has been breaking down for years. The issue, of course, isn't that your father wants to leave the marriage. It's the way he went about it. After 30 years, there's a more dignified way and a more respectful way to go about things. And that is to sit down face to face with your spouse and to say, this marriage, we both know it's not working anymore and I want to end it. But what your father did, the way he went about it behind everyone's back, buying this property, seeing this woman, setting her up in this house, your father was getting everything ready for himself so that when the marriage eventually ended with your mom, he could just transition smoothly from the life he shared with her to his new life, his new house with a new woman. He was going to drop that bomb on your mom once he was nice and comfortable in his new life, leaving her devastated, which she now is. Even though you say she's dealing with it better than you and your sister are, she's still very upset. You see, and that is where the problem comes in. It's that he didn't, just out of decency, consider how it would impact the person he spent 30 years of his life with. But anyway, OP, all you can do is stay strong, focus on your future that you're planning with your fiancé. Yes, support your mother. Let the dust settle before you attempt to resume your relationship with your father. And just take it day by day, one step at a time. You will get through this, OP, and your mom and your sister, you will get through this. And well, your father has definitely made sure that he's going to be okay. Story number 2. OP writes, Hi, this is my first time posting here. I need to be somewhat vague about my details, like my age, job, location, and so forth. I hope you understand. I've been concerned about my husband's female co-worker, and I finally expressed those concerns. He seems to have an entirely too close relationship with her. When I asked him about the relationship, he insisted they were just friends. He got so upset with me that I would insinuate that anything was going on. The next day, I asked to look at his phone, and he was fine with that. But he'd had plenty of time to remove anything incriminating. It looks like he did a lot of deleting. Recently, I was able to look at his Google search history unbeknownst to him. I found him searching for his co-worker's name on social media over 100 times over the course of 2 months. I feel like this is very suspicious for someone who is supposedly just a friend. Am I reaching here? Here's OP's update. Yesterday, I posted about how my husband got very upset with me and was angry that I could think anything was going on between him and his female co-worker, but I sensed something was off. I was logged in on his desktop, so I snooped. I discovered that he had searched for his female work friend, just a friend, of course, over 100 times during the course of 2 months. Here is the aftermath. I confronted him. He claims that she mentioned she was worried her boyfriend was a QAnon guy and he was just trying to do some research. That was it. I lost it. Why on earth would he be so obsessed with helping his work pal? And 100 times during 2 months? And to be so fixated on her boyfriend? I tried to explain that this was not normal behavior with a friend, and especially not one I had mentioned I was growing uncomfortable with the friendship. Then the excuses started flowing. It's just research. He likes research. He does these types of things for work and so on. When I pointed out that his buddy Dave didn't come up even once in his browsing history, and in fact, not a single one of his other co-workers had come up, he had no answer. So I pushed. I threatened to contact his work friend. I told him if there was nothing wrong with what he was doing, it shouldn't be a problem for me to contact her and discuss this. He begged me not to. It would mean he would lose his job. Then, just as everyone here warned me, he said he hadn't been happy in the marriage for a long time. That was news to me. How convenient. I kicked him the F out. What's next remains to be seen. And he still insists they're just friends. Well, OP, in our first story, the OP's father got very upset when he was investigating and asking the other women what's going on. And his father said, how dare you call people and accuse them of such things? And it turns out that, yes, indeed, the father was having an affair and he shared a house with this woman. So who knows when it comes to your husband? The point is people will lie. Cheaters will lie. And they will continue to lie until you confront them with cold, hard facts. And you know what? Even then, some of them will deny it. But it is very odd that your husband is searching this woman so many times. It's very suspicious. And then when you pushed the issue, when you said, I'm going to contact this woman, suddenly he turns around and he says, oh, I haven't been happy in this marriage for a long time. So something is up. Where there's smoke, there's fire and all of that, Opie. And I think kicking him out was the right thing. He is keeping something from you and, well, I think sooner rather than later you will know what that something is exactly. And, well, we know what it most likely is. Well, that's it for this edition. I thank you for joining me and I hope you enjoyed the stories. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment and consider subscribing. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.